So one of the things that has happened in the everyday usage of knowledge about the mind and the body is that people have gotten into what we call neuromyths or brain scams, uh, where they have a misunderstanding and kind of an oversimplification of how the mind works, how we learn, how we become who we are. And there are several of those that are really prominent. One of them is that we only use a small proportion of our brain. This is total nonsense. We use most of our brain most of the time. When people say things like we only use 20% of our brain or we only use half of our brain, it's just wrong, and it's been wrong forever. Another one that's a common myth is that there are left brain and right brain people. Now, I actually study people who have had half their brain removed. So in that case, they actually are a left brain person or a right brain person because they're missing half their brain because of gross epilepsy. So they had to have it removed to save their lives. But most of us have a whole brain, and we use the whole brain. We use both hemispheres. We don't just use one hemisphere. And so that's another neuromyth that there are left brain and right brain people. Not true. A third major neuromyth is that women and men have totally different brains. The men's and women's brains are basically the same in most ways, except for a few things around sexual behavior and gender issues. So in most ways, men and women have very similar brains.